going to show you why your phone gets very hot and very slow while you're using it. And I'm also going to give you the solution to that problem, my darling. So if you find this video useful, click on the plus button, save this video. You might refer to it later. Let's go. So first of all, you go to Google Play Store, and this is how it looks like, my darling. When you click on it, it will open. On the right side of your phone, you're going to see the profile picture of your name. Click on it, my darling. Are we together? Then come down here. Make sure you click on Play Protect. After you click on Play Protect, you're going to see Settings where the arrow is pointing. So you're going to tap on Settings, my darling. Are we together to this point? So you make sure you activate these two features. Are we together? Make sure you activate these two features the same way you can see I've done with mine. Once you're done, click on that arrow where the arrow is pointing. It will take you back to this point. Are we together, my darling? Once you are here, you're going to click on Scan. Why are you clicking on Scan? So that you can detect any app that has virus, which slow down your phone's performance and also generate a lot of heat on your phone. Immediately you click on Scan, Google Protect will analyze the behavior of your apps. And if they're going to detect any dangerous app that has virus, my dear, make sure you uninstall.
Martin, is the world a simulation?
Well, in recent years, there's been a theoretical framework, if you like, produced called simulation theory. It states that we are, and the world is, just a huge simulation produced by some giant computer somewhere or something of that kind. It's a little bit like the simulation in the Matrix. If you've seen the Matrix, people's bodies are actually stored in huge buildings, and they're jacked into a simulation of the world. Now, do I think that's realistic? No, I think it's nonsense. You could come up with anything. And of course, we always see the world in terms of the most dominant technologies. So we think the world is a simulation because we can produce simulations on computers. It's just stupidity. Anyway, not to dismiss the topic, there's a more serious discussion by a guy called Metzinger. If you want to really disturb yourself, then I'd suggest you read a book called The Ego Tunnel by Metzinger. And I've got a couple of quotes here that will give a flavour for what he's talking about. Our brains generate a world simulation, so perfect that we do not recognize it as an image in our minds. So the world we live in is produced by our brain, but we don't know it's produced by our brain. And we think that the world is a reality outside of our minds, effectively. And for Metzinger, it isn't. Another quote, the brain constantly creates the experience that I am present in a world outside my brain. I mean, there's a lot to go into there, but I'm not going to. I want to make this reasonably short. But I'll read that one again. The brain constantly creates the experience that I am present in a world outside my brain. And of course, you're not outside your brain, you're completely within it. But as he says elsewhere, the brain is part of the simulation. And at that point, I'll move on because you've probably got some short circuits going on in your head. So, is the world a simulation? The answer to that is yes, it definitely is a simulation. We're just not really sure what kind of simulation. And by saying that yes, it's definitely a simulation, it might be more accurately called a representation. So, Immanuel Kant, who is one of my two best philosophers, Kant and Spinoza, says that we only know our own representation of the world. I mean, it's kind of obvious. It's so obvious that people don't really recognize it. The only world that you're conscious of is the world that your brain creates for you. It's very similar to Metzinger, but Kant is saying that Well, there is clearly a world outside your body, but there isn't a world outside your mind. I mean, there's obviously a world outside your body. You can reach out and touch things and so on. But is there a world outside your mind? No, of course there isn't, because all those sensations of touch and sight and all the rest of it are just things that are processed by your brain and give you a representation of the world. A character called Bishop Berkeley started the whole thing in the West, really. He said, well, actually, there isn't any reality as such. It's all in the mind. Now, the problem with all of these statements is that they're neither provable nor disprovable. But the one thing you can say definitely is that the world you know is the world that is a representation given to you by your brain or your mind. In fact, even using the word brain isn't accurate. So, you could ultimately go to solipsism, which is I am the only person existing and everything else is just really kind of like a dream. Again, you can't prove it nor disprove it, but the most realistic view on the whole thing, I think, is that there is a world that we haven't created, but we just get a representation of it. So, it may be that there are kind of alien creatures crawling around all over the place, but we can't see them because they're possibly existing in a way that our senses don't pick up. And if our senses don't pick them up, we don't know they exist. There is only one thing that is certain that we can say here, and I'll quote Schopenhauer. In fact, it's a very, very first line from his wonderful work, The World as Will and Representation. And he says, the world is my representation. And that's what your world is. It's your representation. If you, for some reason, maybe a brain injury or something, you lose the sense of color, then your world becomes grey. If you lose the ability to hear high-pitched sounds, your world becomes just a muffle, and so on. So, the world is your representation. Now, I'll just finally say, without going into it, your inner world, your sense of yourself, is also a representation. It's not what you are. And in fact, the final statement really is that we do not know what we are, and we do not know what the world is.
Now, science is confirming that such a thing is not only possible, but very likely has occurred within both historic and prehistoric times. We can now understand that it is to such phenomenon that ancient sacred writings are referring in numerous examples when they speak of times of darkness and of the sun's light being suppressed. But there's more. Even as the light ultimately prevailed, and the barrenness of winter eventually gave way to spring and the renewal of life, so did the effects of ancient disasters ultimately abate, allowing for a resurrection of life and of civilization, and the inauguration of a new cycle or a new cosmic year.
Everything we learned in life about the universe is a lie. They said the sun is yellow, it's really green. You ever wonder why our veins are green? You ever wonder why all the trees is green? All my life, I had a green mold on my arm. I never knew where it came from. This is a message. If I was you, I would start searching my body to see if I could find little small green marks or maybe birthmarks. The Egyptians tried to tell us back in ancient times. That's why they painted these people green. We are really green. You ever notice you wear fake jewelry and your skin start to turn green? The first thing a person say is, well, my skin is turning green because the jewelry is fake. No, it's trying to let you know who you really are. We got so comfortable with waking up and looking at the sun this color. The sun is only this color because they changed their frequencies to the matrix. If they start removing all these street lights from all these cities, we will be able to see the sky or real frequencies. These are blinding us from the truth. You know how they say bright lights actually blind you? Well, this is what's going on. They change our frequency or our spectrum. You ever notice if you ever get sick, you want to eat green vegetables, and green vegetables heal you all the time. If you ever feel depressed, you go out in nature, and nature will heal you all the time. The reason why nature is healing you is because it's vibing on the same frequency as you. We are all green because the sun is green. They say all this take place because of the chlorophyll. That's true. We are chlorophyll. They lied to us and said our blood is red. No, our blood is green. They made us forget about the heart chakra. The heart chakra is this planet. The heart chakra is the sun. The heart chakra is everything because everything is the heart. We are really in the heart of the universe. Once you understand your heart chakra, you will understand everything. And what I mean by understand everything, you will be connected to everything. There's a reason why the heart sits in the middle. The sun is the middle and all these other colors operate around it. The heart chakra is green because all colors together is really green. By the way, can't forget about the moon. The moon actually interferes with the way we see things. Once again, bright lights will always blind us. The moon is the brightest light in the sky and it's blinding us from the truth. If you ever want to get away from the matrix, go back in nature. If you are ever sick, go back in nature. If you want to be healthy, eat from nature. If you want to understand the universe, go out and sit in the sun. The sun is green. It will connect with every cell in your body. By the way, the image of this planet that's all blue is fake. It's really the bottom one. Everything is green.
Oh my god, do you think there was a time we were already
A lot of
green?
the times you will see put up to someone's nostrils. The ankh is a polarized energy which stimulates and activates the pituitary gland and the pineal gland. The ankh is a way of activating the consciousness. Osiris means open eye, which relates to the third eye, relates to consciousness. We have the goddess Isis, which is the Genesis, which is also relating to the third eye. So Isis and Osiris is really talking about consciousness. When we have the jackal Anubis, the word Anubis basically means twice born, to be rebirthed. And Anubis is always in black and gold. Black is death, gold is illumination. It is rebirth. So Anubis, the twice born, is really the rebirth and the resurrection of self. Now, because the Great Pyramid is mathematically the tomb of Christ and Mary Magdalene, the last point that I will make is the Christian fish. Now, the word fish means the mouth of man, in which we breathe. Again, Christ means breath, or the divine breath. So that is a deeper meaning as to why the fish is a symbol of Christ. It is to do with the circulation of divine breath. Give and you shall receive. Inhale and exhale. Thank you very much for watching.
Oh my god, leave your comments, man. Ha! How do you sharpen your knife like that? Look at this mysterious paranormal creature caught on camera. Do you think that is real? That looks like some movie creature.
That was one. I think there's 20 of them.
Those are really scary stuff, man. Look at this. What is this guy doing? Oh, he has some light bulb here and some coils. I don't know what. Where do these coils get charged from? Where are they getting their charge from? Or has this guy put these coils to some electricity plug or something like that? Good Good people of Earth, what do you think this guy is doing? What type of bulb is this? And the coils, oh, what is this good vibes guy up to? And how is the bulb lighting without being connected anywhere? Or this guy is producing energy from his body or something like that? This is interesting, man. Oh, what do you call that now?
Capturaram na sereia viva na faixa de Gaza. Uma equipe de árabes caçadores foram até a região onde se concentra os maiores relatos de avistamentos da criatura. Eles estão em frente a um lago. Bom, a criatura não deve estar muito longe. Lá está ela, e pare não estar nada a bem. Será que ainda respira?
No, that's foot. Hey, Baba?
Sim, ela está viva. Agora chegou a hora de capturá-la. Entretanto, com muito cuidado com ela, parece querer mordê-los. Depois de muito sacrifício, ela foi manietada e lavada para ser tratada, e depois eles verão o que farão com ela. Se vão entregá-la às autoridades governamentais, se irão mantê-la sob cárcere privado ou se irão servi-la como alimento no vilarejo. Seria isso uma seria real? Deixe sua opinião nos comentários.
Good people of Earth.
They say if you put your shoe size and add 2 zeros, minus the year you were born, plus the year you're on, you should get this number, and the last 2 digits is your age or how old you should be turning this year. They
say they have.
Does that work?
They appear to have. Okay, well, it's a strange story, but part of the briefings I've gotten is that the moon was put in place 65 million years ago, and there's some debate as to whether it was then or a lot more recent, but I don't know if they really know. But one of the theories is the moon was put in place to bring about the fall of the dinosaurs, to create seasons. That the moon is a spaceship, that it was flown into position, it orbits the Earth, and in so doing, mammalian life now predominates, whereas before it was reptilian life. And the reptilians had, the dinosaur species apparently did evolve into a hominid race that was intelligent, that got wiped out when this took place, the 65 million year ago incident. And they did get driven underground, so that is a classic element of the story. But then the Draco Alliance, the negative ETs, say that, we persecuted the reptilians, we traumatized them, we drove them underground, and now we have to pay tribute, we have to pay rent to be here. And so the treaty, the negative treaty, is that we're apparently giving them humans as
our meat suits.
Yeah, for whatever they want to use us for, whether they want to dine on us or have us as workers or whatever.
Wow.
We trade a certain number of humans per year. So in my own experience, Danica, I've had multiple invitations to this group. I've had bribes in the billions of dollars offered to me.
I mean, Greer's talks about getting bribed for billions too. I've interviewed him a couple of times.
When you go out there and you're involved in this stuff like I am, they really would love to have you on their side. They really would love to have you as a mouthpiece. And so I was told, for example, that I could do everything the way I do it now, and the only thing that I would have to do different in order to get this money is to, quote-unquote, speak favorably about Lucifer. And they had this philosophy they wanted people to talk about, which is that, Lucifer is a benevolent, misunderstood angel. And God abandoned us up in heaven, but Lucifer stayed down here with us. Look, any God that tells you got to go around hurting people is not a God I want to be involved with.
This is why I keep telling people, if you want to know about Lucifer and his fall, go to Isaiah chapter 14, starting at verse 12. Also in Ezekiel chapter 28, where it refers to the lamentation of the king of Tyre, comparing him to Lucifer and his fall. People go, the Dracos, the reptilians, they're part of this race, they're part of that race, they're part of an ET race. Yeah, they're part of one. Lucifer in the garden was the serpent. It all stems from there. Now we go, well, that's only a few thousand years ago. No. According to modern day traditional teaching that is to make you blind, it's only a few thousand years ago. This has been going on for millions of years. Linda Moulton Howe, she talks about the 70 million year experiment of the dinosaurs and that the Dracos were part of that. The human sacrifice, the blood sacrifice, all of this, the pineal gland and all that of the fear factor and all this stuff. Who do you think's feeding on that? These are as close to demonic entities as you can get. They shapeshift. I've seen them. They shapeshift. They do whatever they want to do. And they're walking amongst you, and you think we're a bunch of kooks and crazy for saying this. Those of us who do this and those of us who talk about this, we don't do it for no reason. I'm telling you right now, I know David Wilcox is he's a writer, he's a producer, movie producer, and things like that. People are, he's just trying to get, recognition or trying to come up with these stories to get fame. Well, he's not. And he mentions Stephen Greer being part of the groups and things like this. But Stephen Greer says that anybody that believes in reptilians or all this other stuff, that's hogwash. He calls it hogwash. Look it up. Well, why is he talking about him in this footage? And in the same footage, he's talking about reptilians. So why does Stephen Greer say they're hogwash? I'll leave that up to you. Leave your comments.
Oh, good people of us. Thanks for watching up to this far, man.
Whoa.
Because people would think
one of the things I notice about this picture, we have the hard decisions leading to the easy life, and we have the easy decisions leading to the hard life. But let me ask you, is there any reason why the hard life little man won't eventually find himself at the top, at the easy life? So can you truly say that that in itself is not a blessing? This is where it's useful just to reframe what we mean by this idea of blessing. The Lord, as it happens, seeks to bless us. He wishes to make our life enviable.
Oh my God. This is creepy, man. Oh my God.
If you ever see a shadow person or shadow spirit, you should do this immediately. Just go talk to it. Just because it's a shadow doesn't mean that it's inherently good or bad. There's only two reasons you'll ever see a shadow person. The first one is because that's just how the spirit is choosing to present itself. They can take many different shapes and many different forms, and you're just happening to perceive them as a shadow. The other reason is due to societal conditioning and fear. Most of us have blocked out our innate ability to see spirits. So when you feel a spirit, the most you're able to perceive is a shadow because you've shut down your psychic ability of seeing. Either way, it's absolutely nothing to be afraid of. You are safe. It's probably one of your ancestors. Go ahead and communicate with it. Give me a follow if you want to learn more.
Oh, have you ever seen shadow people?
How to use the root chakra to attract wealth. I'm going to give you a quick 1-minute video on how you can use root chakra meditation to attract wealth more effortlessly. First thing, get up in the morning before sunrise. Sit in a lotus position. Start taking some nice deep breaths. Form the Kuber Mudra just like shown here. Palm up and place your hands on your lap. Then start chanting the mantra for the root chakra called LUM, L-A-M. LUM. Visualize a red glowing sphere at the base of your spine, and then start visualizing what kind of wealth you want in your life. Do this for 15 minutes every morning.
This dog was shocked what he heard on the voicemail when his dog daycare called his owners.
Just wanted to give you a quick update. Kai is a big humper. He's overstimulated, literally humping everyone. And a lot of the dogs did not like it. He is social, but he's more concerned about humping everybody than he is playing.
Oh, that dog was surprised to hear that. Huh. Well, this interesting survival trick on the jungle of how you can prepare stuff using some can and stool and all that. This is interesting, man. It's incredible. It's good vibes. But now you see some of these hacks, they need you to have this stuff. You have gone with them in the forest. But if you have none of this stuff, it might as well be very hard to do this. You see? Imagine being in the forest, you want to light a fire, and you remember this good vibes hack, you see? But now you don't have a steel wood. What do? You see? You be creative in other ways. Yo, good vibes, man. But these humans are lovely sharing good vibes out there. It's incredible. Much love to them, man, and to yourself for clicking and watching up to this far. That's a wonderful gesture. With the world and universe, you are doing incredible, you see? This is interesting, man. What is that thing? Look at that. Oh my god, this is scary. Are those people like performing some certain ritual or something like that? Look at the stuff they have drawn there on the ground and some star there that looks creepy. Oh my god. Oh my god. What is this now? What type of ritual is this? Good people of Earth, do you know what is going on here? Oh, what are these good vibes people doing? You see? Oh my god. Oh, what type of dance is this? Why are they dressed like that in some white robes? They are moving in some funny type of way. This is creepy, man. Oh my god. Hey, imagine you are taking a walk in the forest there and coming across some guys doing this in the middle of the forest. What could be your first reaction, good people of Earth? You see? Leave some comments.
All of these propellants were toxic to some degree, but the public never knew it. All they heard was sort of a roar coming from the Simi Hills and a lot of smoke coming up, but that's all they knew.
And what gave you that idea?
Well, after I quit Rocketdyne, I became a freelance writer. I got a book contract, and needing a good place to live, my wife and I bought a 75-foot Coast Guard cutter, which had been converted to living aboard. Well, there were a lot of homeless people near where we stayed at the Oakland Marina, so we invited them to come and stay on the boat. After all, it was 75 feet long, lots of room. So one of the men was a Vietnam veteran with a hair habit. His name was John Grant. And he said, Bill, the government really screwed me. They taught me how to kill. They sent me to Vietnam. I killed a lot of innocent people. He says, I'm very bitter at this corrupt government. He said, you're a writer. Why don't you write something outrageous like, say, we never went to the moon? And that's exactly where I got the idea, from John Grant in 1974 at the Oakland Marina. Prior to that time, I, like almost everybody else in the United States, believed that we went to the moon.
What gave you the first suspicion that the flights were fraudulent?
The first suspicion came when I flew to Las Vegas to write the book. I got a contract to write it from Price, Stern & Sloan in L.A. So I went to Vegas where they have a large NASA library. And I picked up one of the books, and it told about a man named Thomas Ronald Barron. Now, Barron was an inspector on Pad 34, where Grissom, Chafee, and White were burned to death. After this disaster, Barron was called before a congressional investigating committee and asked to tell about his experiences. Well, Barron told about all kinds of inept work, mismanagement, total incompetence, people being drunk on the job. In other words, he gave a revelation that Apollo wasn't going to work because of the failure of NASA and North American aviation. 4 days later, Thomas Ronald Barron was killed in an alleged automobile accident at a railway crossing near Titusville, Florida. And Thomas Ronald Barron was the turning point for me in the investigation of Apollo. I believe that anybody who tells the truth and is killed, it's very likely that they were telling the truth.
You see, allegedly that guy was killed after some few days, man.
Inside this room. Look at all those. Boom, 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 boom. Everywhere. Look at that.
Huh? What do you think made those stuff, good people? Ha! Look at this strange UFO caught on security camera. It makes unbelievable moves, never seen before. Oh my god. This security camera really did us good. Do you think this is really some security camera? Anyway, away from the security camera, look at this stuff here that is allegedly some UFO or UAP, those things. This is creepy, man. How can it do that? Free fall like a stone and... These things is like they don't have respect for science. You see? How are this thing built? Those people from outer space must be something else. Or do they have science that you don't know about? Because it's like they see our science here is not making sense. Because how can they do this? You see, when you try doing physics there and mathematics, it's not normal for something to do that. You see? Now, how can it do that? Please, if you can understand, leave some comments there, good people of us. You see? This is the best time for us, people as humans, to unite and love one another and share good vibes. You see? Yeah, man. Look at this stuff. This ancient stuff. And they were made of stone. Yeah.
Tongan residents have been urged to stay inside after a massive eruption at a nearby volcanic island today. Tonga lies around 60 kilometres from the mainland. The Pacific nation almost in a communication blackout following a volcanic eruption that triggered a tsunami.
In the vast Pacific Ocean, a monstrous behemoth has stirred, terrifying scientists and sending shockwaves throughout the globe. Hunga Tonga Hunga Ha'apai, an immense underwater volcano near Tonga, has finally erupted, with an explosive power equal to 100 Hiroshima bombs.
These islands are sensitive indicators for the activities of climate and change, and we can project them forward even to other planets.
For years, scientists dreaded its awakening, fearing the havoc it could wreak. Now, their worst nightmares have materialized. The largest underwater volcano has finally woken up, and something unimaginable is happening. What's happening? What could have triggered this colossal fury? And has been requested by some of you folks in the comments, what are the long-term consequences of this eruption on our climate? Get ready for a revelation unlike any you've heard before. Volcanoes, those majestic yet threatening geological features, may appear to be remnants of a distant past, especially considering the infrequency of major eruptions in modern times. However, this perception was brutally shattered by the recent cataclysmic event at the Hunga Tonga Hunga Ha'apai underwater volcano. The eruption at Hunga Tonga Hunga Ha'apai etched its name in the annals of geological history by becoming the most potent atmospheric explosion ever documented. Its aftermath was nothing short of terrifying, triggering an astonishing 11-hour supercharged thunderstorm that sprawled across a vast area, spanning approximately 150 miles, which is about 240 kilometers. Not just that, the eruption produced a high eruption column, reaching elevations of 57 kilometers and thus reaching into the mesosphere, which is now raising concerns about the terrifying climatic and atmospheric impact this will have on our planet, Earth. Before delving deeper into the terrifying details of this eruption, it's crucial to grasp the historical context surrounding the Tonga Ha'apai volcanic system. Nestled in the vast expanse of the Pacific Ocean, within the Kingdom of Tonga, this volcanic entity is part of the larger Tonga-Kermadec volcanic arc. This region is renowned for its seismic activity, arising from the convergence of the Pacific Plate beneath the Indo-Australian Plate. This geological convergence has led to a chain of islands and volcanoes, many of which exist beneath the ocean's surface. Tonga Ha'apai stands as a testament to this natural spectacle, with only two small volcanic islands, Tonga and Ha'apai, breaking the waterline and serving as silent markers of the submerged volcanic activity below. These islands stand as remnants of the once imposing caldera's northern and western boundaries. The sheer magnitude of this submerged giant is staggering. Its base sprawls across a considerable 20 kilometers in diameter on the seafloor. From this expansive foundation, the volcano rises majestically, ascending to a height of approximately 2,000 meters toward the ocean's surface. For decades, the volcano's caldera lay beneath the sea, approximately 490 feet below sea level, measuring 2.5 miles in length and a mile in width, a truly massive expanse. The landscape of this caldera, shaped by deposits from previous volcanic eruptions, constantly evolves, leaving behind evidence of eruptions dating back to the year 1108 CE. Historically, these volcanic islands have experienced periodic eruptions. The first recorded eruption at this site occurred in 1912, followed by a significant eruption in 1937. This volcano has also erupted a few times over the 21st century. In March 2009, a submarine eruption near the Tonga Ha'apai spewed steam, smoke, pumice, and ash thousands of feet into the sky. This eruption, observed by Tonga's chief geologist Kalepi Mafi, created a new land surface between two vents, practically devastating Hunga Harbor Island and blanketing it in a thick layer of black ash, obliterating all vegetation and fauna. The volcano stirred once more in 2014, as volcanic plumes and a series of earthquakes rattled the volcanoes north of Tonga for several weeks, signaling a resumption of volcanic activity in the area. In mid-December 2014, a new eruption began, marked by a tall white steam plume rising from the ocean over the volcanic mount, visible to local fishermen. Satellite imagery confirmed the eruption's continuation, with a smoke and ash plume rising from the site. The eruption persisted into 2015, with a towering ash cloud reaching 3 kilometers into the sky. A new phase commenced 10 days into January, characterized by ash plumes soaring.
Oh my god. Good people, thanks for watching up to this far, man. See, that was some fearsome stuff happening there in Tonga Ha'apai, you see? And we wish those guys good vibes and peace. You see, good people of Earth. Thanks for watching. Leave some comments. Kindly hit the like button if you haven't. And spread love and good vibes. Stick around, some good episode will be coming your way soon. Goodbye.